Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and it's good to have you with us this, let's see, we're on Wednesday already of this week. Hard to believe. We're live from the HCCTV podcast studio this morning. Good to have you joining us. We're here every morning, 10 a.m. live on Facebook and YouTube, but you can also catch us on social media. We'll get to that in a second. And HCCTV, we're on at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. daily for your viewing pleasure. Okay, have you been outside? It's beautiful out this morning. A little chilly, but it's supposed to get up to close to 70 today. It's just a picture-perfect day. Tony, good to see you. My co-host, Tony Rayo Sutherland, joining me from her home. Good to see you, Tony.
Oh, yes. And of course, I have the windows here. So I'm looking out and there's a trail in my backyard, and I see people just jogging and having fun and listening to music, and it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, well, it was a bit chilly this morning. Not going to run this morning, maybe wait till later on today. They say, like I said, it's supposed to get 70. That should be great running weather. Hey, I mentioned earlier, people can find us in social media, but you don't want to just follow HCC because there's a bunch of them out there.
That is correct. So you got to go for Houston Community College District, Houston Community College District, and just go to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, any of those, and follow us, and you can see our show.
All right. That's exactly right. You can see the show and enjoy it. Okay. We've got a couple of special guests for you this morning. It's a Small Business Wednesday, and we always feature guests, graduates of HCC's business plan competition. This morning is no exception. Welcome Angelica Jelly Robinson to the studio. She is she's the owner of Peace and Love Studios. Good morning, Jelly. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talking with you and hearing how things went in the business plan competition, how they're going for you now, and maybe you can tell us all about your studios. Stick around. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes.
Sounds great. Thank you, Ty.
All right. Thanks, Jelly. Okay, we're going to transition to another studio to talk with our first guest. Jim Martinez is the radio manager of Sight Into Sound, and he also went to HCC a while back. Jim, good to see you. Thanks for being here on the show.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, tell us about, first off, what is Sight Into Sound? Because I know you do a lot of important work there, and from what I understand, it's for the visually impaired.
Yeah, Sight Into Sound, we're a radio reading service for the blind, visually impaired, and people who have learning disabilities as well. We stream at our website, sightintosound.org. What it originally started out was back in 1967. There was a man who lived down the street from this young man who was going to college, and he was blind. And keep in mind, this is 1967, so there were no accessible anything. So he needed a book to be read, so he helped him read it. And then it all started from there. And they eventually started reading for the Library of Congress and opened up a building in the early 70s, and where we are now. So we're streaming. We read all the major publications, all done by volunteers. We have 3 paid staff. And we have, before the lockdown, we had 150 volunteers. During the lockdown, and we're still starting to come out of that, a lot of people are recording from home. And they send it to it via Dropbox, and I schedule it. So we never missed a beat. All we did was change our schedule. So we have a daily schedule, similar to a TV schedule, 7 days a week, and we're podcasting as well. So if you missed the program, like everything else, you can go to the podcast page and download it. And our services are free. All we need is verification of your, disability. If you have macular degeneration, glaucoma, and then once we get that filled out, our services are free. Like I said, we read all the major publications done by volunteers. We have a couple of book hours. We have a couple of book hours. We have some accessible technology shows where we have one show where a group of blind people sit down and they answer each other's questions, and they take calls. I can't. My Siri isn't working on my iPhone, but it's working on my iPad. Why? How come? And they go back and forth. And that's every week. And we have other accessible shows as well. We have a blind couple who sit at home and just podcast and just talk, how, what to do, how to get along. And it's
yeah. It sounds like you guys were doing podcasting before podcasting was a thing, realistically.
Long before if you remember reel to reels, we started on there, and then it evolved, and we went to cassettes, and then we're for about the last 20 years we got to recording on computer. It's funny when people complain about editing on computer. I like, you have no idea. If you did reel to reels where you had to splice the tape and the white pencil, and if you messed up, you got yelled at and all that. Now you just undo, something goes wrong. So it's completely changed. It's nice to see that. When I was at HCC, I got trained on tape, 2-inch tape, 1/4-inch tape, 1/2-inch tape, had to do all that.
Yeah.
And then when I got out in the real world, so to speak, digital started coming out. I said, what's that? And said, well, we're recording on a computer now. I said, you do? I never heard of that. So how can you record on a computer?
It's funny, you went to school when I hate to say it, but I was probably in school not that far behind you. When I went to college at U of H, we were still using something called telecine, where they would roll the instead of rolling video, they'd roll film to place behind people. So that was already antiquated by the time I went to school. But yeah, it's amazing what technology can do. Is this similar to, I remember back in the 80s and 90s when a lot of the news personalities would go into volunteer their time to read for Lighthouse for the Blind. Is this very similar to what their services were?
Similar, yeah. We had a lot, several TV, radio personalities in the 90s and the 2000s that came here. Lighthouse does adaptive technology. So how to get along in the kitchen, how to cook, how to walk stairs. We just do reading, just audio. So yeah, we had a lot of people throughout the years would come in after they would work or before they would go to work in the TV. Doug Miller, Lisa Ferranda, the weatherman from Channel 26 many years ago. I can't remember his name. I remember his face, and several others. I think some Channel 2 people as well. I remember their faces. I can't remember. A lot of them have left Houston. A lot of them have left Houston. So, I remember the faces. I can't remember the names right now. So, and I've been here. Last week was my 25th anniversary being here. So when I got here, it was still reel to reel and tape, and then it took us about 3 or 4 years. We're a nonprofit, so we had to raise money to get a grant for our recording booths. We have 15 recording booths. We're down to 10 now because people record at home.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you guys must work off a lot of grants from the government and funding, where you're constantly getting sources from the government? Is that correct? How you fund your operations? Or
there was a time we did government and private donations. Now it's 100% private donations.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, we're non-government, and just we get the big grants. The 10, 20, 50,000 grants, dollars, and we get a lot of $5-10 bills in the mail. Those add up.
Yeah. That's
those keep the lights on just with that.
Right. When you started your career, Jim, and I know when you went back to when you were at HCC, did you envision your career looking a lot different than it is now? And one thing I must say, it must be very rewarding being that you've been there for 25 years.
Yeah. I tell people I get to do what I want, and I'm helping people. Yeah. It's when I first got here, I thought it was all new to me, volunteers, and we help blind people come into the door. We used to send out radios that only picked up our station, kind of like closed circuit radio.
Yeah.
And then we've evolved from that to the Alexa, the smart speakers are huge in the blind community. So now they're no longer depending on the person they live with. They can just ask Alexa or ask Siri. And so we're on the Alexa, and so we're streaming on that. And so yeah, no, when I first got here, it was just, I didn't know, we read the grocery ads. Who said, who reads grocery ads? And that's what people have to eat. It just. Right. And so things like that. And then I realized blind, visually impaired people, their world is audio and my world is audio. It just, so it fit. And I like anything audio I like doing. And that's their world. They have to, blind people just pay attention more because there are no visual cues. So you have to, when you talk to them, they have to pay attention. So it's real good with kids, they have to pay attention. So they're not
something we all should be doing more often,
exactly.
Letting the other. Jim Martinez is the radio manager of Sight Into Sound. If you're interested in Sight Into Sound, we're going to put some links in our social media post at the show. Jim, great to see you. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for all you do for the community.
Thank you. Thanks. Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, Jim. Okay, we're going to move on to it's Small Business Wednesday, and Dr. Tony is here with a special guest from our HCC Business Plan Competition. Tony, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, Angelica, or as she likes to be called, Jelly Robinson, owner of Peace and Love Studios, and also a graduate of HCC's Business Plan Competition. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Tony.
We are so happy to have you with us. That beautiful smile of yours and everything, which I think is also part of your business, you might say, because
literally.
Peace and love. I love it. I understand that you started your business not because you were thinking about it necessarily, but kind of just happened. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that all get started?
So the business itself, I always knew once I got into the salon industry that I wanted to be a child hair care specialist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you wanted to be a child care specialist. And are you frozen? Let me think.
Uh-oh. Looks like we may have lost her connection. Maybe we'll try to reestablish that.
Time with getting haircuts.
There we go. There you go.
We lost your connection for a second.
We just missed what you just said. So can you repeat that?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So we were saying that it kind of just happened. And literally my entire career, even when I was in hair school before I was officially licensed, I was the go-to person for the kids' cuts. Mm-hmm. So then once I got into the industry, I just kind of always captured the wiggle worms. So I knew I wanted a mobile children's salon. Well, I knew I wanted a children's salon at some point. That was my end goal. I didn't think about the fact that I could go mobile, nor did I know I would be an advocate for the special needs community surrounding the haircuts. But that's how I got into it, just kind of servicing the kids within the salon industry and then finding children that wiggled. But it was a little bit of a background there. I didn't understand their diagnosis, nor was it my business. But when parents came forth front and said, hey, my son has autism, my son has Asperger's, and he's never really had a salon experience quite like this before, then I realized I was kind of tapping into a market that didn't exist.
You're kind of a natural on this, I think. Some people know how to work with students or children, but then you go even further, and you're very special. I think you're special to the kids and to the parents, which they absolutely love. So what got you into the HCC competition? How did you get into that?
I was talking to Miss Sandra because initially I didn't know. I was like, how did I even meet Miss Sandra? But I was going through some old photos just yesterday, and I realized that I took it amongst myself to starting and running a successful business through HCC in 2016. So that's how I got connected to the newsletters. Mm-hmm. And it was one random restaurant, random person that connected with me while I was out to eat. And I'm just talking to him, and I'll literally talk about these kids to anybody that will listen. So I'm just talking and running my mouth to this guy, and he says, well, do you have a plan? And I'm making a whole bunch of excuses. At the end of the day, no, I did not have a business plan, an official plan. I had a notebook full of notes, but it was not a business plan. And he says, well, I invest in many small businesses, but I wouldn't give you any money because you don't have a plan. And
so that was enlightening, right?
Not a slap in the face in a mean way, but in a good way.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I was going through emails, and then boom, it was a deadline for the business plan competition. And what the credentials were that you needed to go to the financial workshop and so on and so forth. And so I called Miss Sandra up. It was late at night, but you know how she is. She picked it up and she chatted with me about what I needed to do to get in there, go ahead and pay my fees so that I can get into it. It was probably within a week. And that's how I got started in the business plan competition, just from that one email that I got late at night saying that it was a deadline.
Well, she's very passionate about that, as you are passionate about your business. So,
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, so you entered the competition. What happened then?
So I entered the competition, and at some point I was like, this has to be like, you have to assign these mentors, because how did I get the perfect mentors? I had 2 sets. I had the McMortys, and then I had Miss Kathy. And both of them were connected to the special needs community by what they did for work.
That's perfect. That fit right in.
I thought they assigned them to me, but although they do try to get mentors with, like, it was just a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So they helped me formulate the plan. I was telling them that with the full-time job that I had, I was still traveling every off day to families at their therapist office or in the privacy of their own home. And so they were saying, okay, well, we need to figure out how to get you an RV. So we kind of tailored that plan according to how I could go to them, because it didn't really make sense to own a brick and mortar if I would still be traveling to the kids that had a hard time coming into a traditional salon environment.
Right, right.
Go through the competition. Long story short on that, I didn't win. And I was a sore loser about it. I was upset because I was like so pumped.
Nobody likes to lose, but you weren't losing though, right?
No, it was an ultimate win, because I was able to just kind of sit back and reflect on my feelings and emotions about it and really come up with a game plan for what was next. And I had a plan. Mm-hmm. So I had my regular job. I was working in the men and boys salon, and I would talk to clients about this all the time. I'm in HCC, I'm doing this business plan competition, so on and so forth. And one client that I would see just about every single month, once I told him I didn't get in, I'm all disappointed and whatnot. The following appointment, he said, I talked to my wife and we'd like to give you what you need to go ahead and get started and get this off the ground. And
there you go. It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. It worked out exactly how it was intended to.
So, okay. So he gave you the money and you continued and you made house calls and all of that. You're successful and all of this. What happened when the pandemic hit?
So the pandemic hit and I was out of work. Mm-hmm. State board said we were not physically able to perform haircuts. There was no way that we could do it from 6 feet apart. Mm-hmm. So I had the plan, but I hadn't had the build out and the blueprint quite finalized. So the time I would have been spending behind the chair cutting hair at the salon, I mean, every day, day in and day out, I'm talking to contractors. I'm getting 3D rendering. I'm getting everything that I need together to officially launch the business when I can. And I wasn't able to make money. There was some assistance that I was able to get because I was out of work. And then I used that just living off the bare minimum. I didn't go many places because most of the city was shut down. So that gave me time to kind of not need to spend money. But every dollar and cent that needed to go towards formulating the LLC or money going to this person or that person outside of the money that was loaned to me, I was able to utilize that time to get everything, like the logistics together. Mm-hmm.
So, and how much did they give you to what did you need to money wise to start?
I needed $100,000.
And they gave that to you. Okay.
I got the money.
And so you worked on the type of truck, the interior design. What about the interior design? What's different about it? What did you do that was special for your particular business?
So when I would think about the clients that will freak out as soon as they walked into the salon, I was like, I want mine to look like a living room.
Okay.
So I need a couch. So when they walk in those stairs, the first thing they see is not a whole row of salon chairs. It's triggering to my clients. They see a couch and a huge TV that's probably way bigger than every TV in their house.
More like home. Yeah.
So, my main goal there when they come in, I try to have their favorite show already prepared. So when they come in, they see the comfy couch and they see the TV, and then we're ready to rock and roll in the services.
Oh, that is so wonderful. That's so ingenious, actually. I mean, it's simple in a way, but, who thought of it type of thing, So, okay. And then now you've been on KHOU TV, Fox, and some other places, interviews about this. Tell us a little bit about how that all happened.
They just happen. People would just randomly call me and they're like, hey, I'm Chelsea Edwards with Fox 26 News. We want to interview you. You got 10 minutes? And I'm like, okay, well, sure. It just happens. I haven't reached out to any of these production companies, or I haven't reached out to anyone. When it comes, it's all organic following. And I love the organicness about it because initially they're a part of the team or the community that I already believe in. So when they come, it's like they're my people, no matter what. Just like this, how we connected today. It's like what I'm attracting is exactly what I'm putting out, I believe.
That's excellent. And then there was a bump in the road late in summer 2021. What happened there?
My ribs.
Oh, what happened?
And I fell texting, not paying attention. I fell on a cornhole table, got me literally right in the ribs, fractured 3 of them, which put me completely out from behind the chair for a little while. But
that hurts to think about it.
Oh, it hurts in general all the time. I don't know if it'll ever fully heal itself. But you asked about Fox 26, and I was beating myself up about the fact that I'm not behind the chair. And then I get a call from Fox, and I was able to get it out there, and clients were just so supportive and understanding. Like, when you get back on your feet, don't worry about it. We want to book an appointment with you. So it worked hand in hand.
Excellent. Everything was just right, following in place. Now, there's something else I understand. It's called sensory-friendly training for cosmetologists. You want to be a national trainer in that. Tell us what that even is.
So a sensory-friendly haircut is a service for someone that has challenges surrounding haircut services. So that means that anything pertaining to their senses. And we all know what those are. So you want to become a national trainer on that. That sounds great. What did you feel like, you went to the competition. Yeah, you didn't win, but really you did win in the long run. Now you give back, you work with the competition. So why do you do that? What motivates you? Well, as far as being connected and giving back with HCC, I wish that I wasn't, 27 years old when I got all the information that I got. So at the end of the day, if I could talk to an aspiring entrepreneur about how they can get to the next level and they're still in high school, they don't have to waste a lot of time and money on things that they're just simply not interested in or that don't set their souls on fire. So that's an easy task for me. As long as I have the time, I'm more than willing to always help somebody that I can pretty much put myself in their shoes when I was that age and say, I wish, somebody told me this information because I just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So it's something I think all of us could say, Jelly. We all wish we would have learned earlier in life. Right. Yes. Thank you for joining us, Jelly. It's always good. It's good to see you. We wish you continued success with Peace and Love Studios. You're doing some great work as well. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Have a great day. All right. We have got a few announcements to make, Tony. First off, I want to let everybody know, of course, we're in the midst of Black History Month, and our Student Life Department here at HCC is celebrating with a number of events. Okay. Wednesday, February the 16th. It's a week from today, I believe. Okay. Yes. 12:30 p.m. There is an event they're holding called Black Literature Matters. And then also on Thursday, February the 17th, Racism as a Public Threat. And then on February the 17th at 6 p.m. later in the day, line dancing. All right. For a complete list of events, make sure you check their website. We'll have a link in our social media post. And Convocation is right around the corner, Tony. Yes, and it's going to be in person. And the theme is Building a Resilient Tomorrow Today, which embodies HCC's dedication and commitment to its students and Houston's future, now that we have stayed strong and weathered through unprecedented times. So that's going to be Friday, February 18th. There's a morning session and an afternoon session. The morning one's at 10 a.m., the afternoon's at 2 p.m., and it will be at HCC Central Auditorium.
And we
Okay.
also have it. You can see it also live streaming.
We'll be live streaming it. Yes, live streaming it both at 10 and at 2, so you can watch it then. Okay, the Adjunct Career Fair. Check this out. Save the date. That's going to be happening. If you're interested in becoming an adjunct, this is your time. Calling all educators. They're looking to hire adjunct professors right here at HCC. Don't miss the opportunity, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Saturday, March 26th. We'll have a link in our social media post with more information on that. And there's also a number of, since we're reopening, our art galleries around the district, Tony, are reopening as well. And we've got a number of art exhibitions happening.
Thank God, a breath of fresh air. The Fall Student Art Instagram show is now at Central Gallery, the Fine Arts Gallery at HCC Central, and it's going to be there through April 9th, and it's free. So go there and check that out.
Okay, free groceries from HCC's counseling department. Food insecurity is a real thing with our students and in cases of our faculty and staff. We're trying to answer that. The counseling department's teaming up with the Houston Food Bank, and their trailers will be at several HCC campuses. It's as easy as this. You go to the website, you sign up, then you report to the campus, pick up your food, and you're done. HCCS.edu. We'll give you a link on the website on how you can find this information. We'll give you a link in our social media post. And if you want to register for this semester, your time's running out because we're in the midst of spring semester, but you can still get some courses in before the summer starts. Go to hccs.edu/apply for all your registration needs. Okay, tomorrow on the show, we've got some special guests as Black History Month continues.
HCC Liberal Arts Interim Dean, Dr. Helen Graham, will be here to talk about historic Black cemeteries. And it'll include Bullhead Camp, where the Sugar Land 95 were entered. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yes, Helen's always a great guest. So we'll have her back on tomorrow. And for Thursday, Virtual Family Fun Day, Children's Museum of Houston will preview its Black History Month celebration. That'll be held this coming weekend. So all that and more tomorrow. Tony and I will be flipping locations. You're here tomorrow. I'm at home. I know it's confusing. That's confusing part. But one thing it's not confusing, we're here every day live at 10 a.m. and we'll see you tomorrow on Up to the Minute.